Alright, so this is part 2 of the video. We've gone ahead and relocated out to this cleanout that's in the front front right corner of the structure. And we've pushed here 87 feet to the connection point of public sewer. So we're going to be coming from public sewer back up to this cleanout access that we used today. So, pulling away from public sewer, we can see that the public sewer and the connection, or the point of the pipe known as the saddle, that's essentially the connection point from public sewer, the little piece of pipe that sticks off, is a concrete. Now, concrete exhibits very similar characteristics to clay, in that it does have a long surface life expectancy, but it is more brittle, and it has a tendency to let in roots at the joint areas. Now, there's one other factor here with concrete systems, and this might be kind of a moot point, considering that the public sewer is itself a concrete pipe. But in 2007, the City of Los Angeles approved an ordinance which states that for houses built prior to 1965, the houses that were built prior to 1965, if you have a sewer lateral, meaning the portion of the pipe that is under either the sidewalk, the street, the curb, any public works essentially, if it is a concrete pipe, it needs to have one of two things done. Either it needs to be replaced out with a different material, or it needs to have a rehabilitation process which involves getting a lining system administered into the pipe. Now, this is something that when I'm looking at this and doing my inspection, I'm not bringing this up from the basis of functionality or usability. What I'm looking at here, the concrete pipe is intact, it's functioning as intended, and there's no reason to necessarily replace it or do any kind of rehabilitation. This is a matter of, with regards to the current code, or the current, essentially the current code that the City of LA is enforcing. And this is something that might come up with certain building permits, or with particular permits related to building. Specifically, if it has anything to do with bathroom renovations, relocating a bathroom, adding a bathroom, changing the location of the bathroom, this might come up as part of requiring or getting those permits from the city, is they might require a video examination of this sewer lateral. And if they find this section of concrete, it's possible that they might request some kind of rehabilitation, lining system, that sort of thing. Now, the reason I said kind of at the onset of my explanation of this that this might be a moot point is because we can see here that the public sewer itself is a concrete pipe which does not have any kind of lining system in it. So they might not request anything, but it's something that I am bringing to your attention because it is something that could come up, and it could be an issue in the future. Now, continuing on with that, we're pulling away and we're entering, we're in a 6-inch diameter vitrified clay piping. I did explain in my prior videos that the vitrified clay is a material which, while it has a long surface life expectancy, it is more brittle, so it has a higher likelihood of having damage, breaks and cracks and that sort of thing. And it also has a tendency to let in roots at the joint areas. Now, there were several spots as I was pushing out from this cleanout that had some pretty excessive root intrusions, and we'll be covering those as I kind of get to them. But it's just something to kind of bring up now as what the characteristics of the pipe are. Now, you've noticed here we've kind of gone over a bump every time we've hit one of these joint areas, and what we're actually looking at there is mortar that's basically been squeezed through the two pipes. The way that the clay pipes are sealed, it's a bell and spigot type setup where you have one piece of the pipe basically inserted into a larger piece of the pipe, and what they do is they fill those gaps, or they fill that section with mortar. And what occurs when they put too much mortar is that when they put the two joint areas together, you have mortar seeping into the pipe. Typically, this isn't really any kind of issue, although it does create a little bit of like a road bump sort of thing. As long as it's not too excessive, you're not really running into any issues. I think the largest section we saw up there, again, you had, I mean, here's an example. You know, this really isn't that high. Once you have any kind of major water running through the line, you really shouldn't have any issues with this. So, not too much of a concern, but I will just describe what I'm looking at here. Now, the line runs in a pretty much direct path from this cleanout. It does turn a little bit when we access the cleanout. It is extending out a little bit to connect up to the main sewer line, but it's pretty much direct path to the street. The main sewer line's running along the right side of the property. We've changed here from that 6-inch diameter into a 4-inch diameter. That typically indicates where we're changing from the public side of things, or where the pipe's under public works, such as a sidewalk, a curb face, street, that sort of thing, onto the property line. Typically a 4-inch pipe is what you're going to be looking at. So here we're actually on the property line. We're running along the front yard, and we're still in this section of clay. Most of this line from this portion is that clay. There's a little bit of plastic, which I'll cover when we get to it. So we're going to be coming here pretty soon into the section which has a little bit more excessive root intrusion. Again, so far, no breaks, no cracks. We do have roots coming in, but this can be maintained with proper cleanings, but nothing to repair as of yet. So that's good. All right, here's the first part. You can see there a little bit more excessive roots. We'll be coming into a bit heavier of a section. All right, so here you can see here those roots are pretty excessive. You can kind of see there's that line running across the right side. Typically indicates that there was at some point a higher level or a higher excess of water, probably caused by those roots not being cleared out. So as long as you're getting them cleared, you shouldn't have much of an issue. Here, the roots have gotten pretty deep into the line. You can see here the camera is essentially channeling or tunneling through those roots. So this part is the part that's a little bit more concerning. You can see here, I essentially can't see much of the pipe other than the left side, but I don't know whether the excessive roots at this point is due to a break, or whether it's just due to the line not being cleaned. So I will be recommending that a Hydrojet cleaning is done. This will clear out all the debris and all of the roots in the line, and what it will also do is allow us to see if there is any kind of break in this section of the pipe. Alright, so here we're changing back into this ABS plastic, and we're pulling out through this cleanout. The cleanout's a little bit long, the extension of it, so I'll be pulling out of that and showing you where we access the line. Alright, before I do that, so here we're in the front of the house. The line basically runs along those bushes to connect it to the public sewer out there, and the cleanout is located right here. Twist on right there. I'm going to go ahead and get a photograph of that for the report as well. So with that, I'm pretty much going to be wrapping up the video portion of the examination for today. Essentially for this portion of the main line, I'm recommending that a Hydrojet cleaning and a follow-up examination is done. For this part specifically, that one joint area that's pretty excessive. So with that, I'm going to be wrapping up the video portion of the examination. Once again, this is Victor Jimenez with Sewerline Check Professional. Thank you very much and have a pleasant day.